painting on these 3 panels. They're made of wood. They are 8 by 10. I got them from Dollarama. I think they were $2 each. I had them primed in gesso. Gesso comes in black and white. I only had black, so I used what I had, which is fine. Most of the negative space on this will be white, but it's thick enough it will cover this. It's just that when it thins out, when it runs off the edges, it won't cover, so that's why I had them painted white. And then it's a good idea to, when that white's still wet, is just to run your finger or a brush just along there to make sure that is smooth, because you don't want a nice, you don't want a hard edge there, like a ridge, because it will interfere with the paint. So I'm gonna set these up how I would like to see them on the wall. Now on the wall, they will be spaced more, like you can probably have them a couple inches apart, but I want this to flow. I want the paint to run across this as if it was one piece, so I have them really close together. And the idea is to have them as close as you can without the paint touching. Once you pour the, okay, I'm gonna cover all these in paint, in white paint to start, and then when that's running off the edge, I don't want the paint to touch each other on the inside. I'll show you that when I do it. I'm just far enough apart that the paint can run down between them, but also close enough that it will just flow across them as if it's one piece, if that makes sense. So I will show you the colors. All right, so here's what I'll be using. I'm a little nervous that this red and yellow is going to turn orange. I kind of don't want much orange. I don't want any orange, actually. So this will be for my my negative space. This will be with the base coat. This is a titanium white by Mont. There is a link to a video in the description of how I mix my paint with my recipe and everything. They're mixed a little thin, like if you see that drizzling in there. It starts to form a mound, like it starts to rest on top, and then it pours, it sinks right in. So that's kind of what you want for this. And you want it to be that thin so that I'm going to use a hairdryer to blow the paint around, and I want it to be able to actually do it. So this is a mixture of Brilliant Red by Mont and Liquitex Fluorescent Red, and I just added that Brilliant Red to liven it up because the Liquitex red is a little bit on the pink side, I find, so this makes it more deep red. And then also fluorescents are very translucent, so they get very covered and washed out, and just, they kind of mix with the colors around them and you just won't see it. So a lot of times with colors, what you'll do is add some white to that and it'll fix the problem. However, adding white to red makes pink, and I don't want pink, so I used red. This black is a metallic black by Artist Loft. And this yellow is a medium yellow by Meeden. So I'm going to flood these all in white to start. I have a bunch of that white mixed up that I just showed you. I like to just pour it on and tilt it around. The big canvas, I probably would spread it around with my hands first, or a hair dryer, and then I would probably still tilt it at the end because it still gives you that nice smooth base. Now what I'm doing here is I am tilting these on top of the other canvas, or the other panel. It's a panel actually, just so I don't lose all of that paint. And I cut my hand on the corner of it, like you see there, to, again, it's to like minimize the amount that I'm just pouring off onto the table. I want to make sure those edges and corners are covered very well. And this is the most efficient way to do it that I've found. If anyone has a better way of doing that, let me know, because I'm always open to new ideas and suggestions and all that stuff. So I am a little bit nervous about the colors I've chosen, because I don't want orange. I don't want the red and yellow to mix and make orange. I don't want too much gray. I don't want pink to show up. So I'm gonna layer them. I'll show you, but I'm layering them in a way that I'm hoping they're not gonna mix. So I'm just gonna get these level here, and I'm kind of setting these, like I'm kind of eyeballing about halfway, and then a little bit apart, just so that that paint that's in between them doesn't touch, just very close. So it's always a good idea to use a blowtorch or some kind of a heat source to pop all the bubbles, if there's bubbles that get in the paint when you mix it up. And then I can also see if there's any chunks of anything. Sometimes pieces of stuff find their way into the paint. Okay, so I'm gonna lay these colors down very strategically. I'm hoping to not have any mixing. So I'm gonna put the yellow on the bottom, and then the black on top of the yellow, and then the red. So I'm hoping it's gonna be like bright yellow kind of coming from underneath the red. That's my idea. Now the black is to help separate the yellow and the red. And red looks really good on top of black. I don't know if you just saw that chunk, but I just saw something fall here. Now I'm gonna put this red, and I'm making sure the red doesn't touch the yellow. So now I put a nice thick strip of white along the edge, along the either side of the color, as close to it as you can without covering. Okay, so I'm gonna torch this one more time. I don't want white polka dot to be popping up through this. Now I'm gonna use a hairdryer. I have an attachment on the end, give me more control. This just fits on the end here. I get these from Amazon. It comes in a set of 3. This is the biggest actually. And then, I mean, it's my favorite one. If you could, the smaller ones are good for really small paintings, but I don't know. Like if I was just doing something on just one of these, I'd probably use a smaller one. So I'm gonna blow the air in this direction. And I don't know, that's all. Wish me luck. Alright, so the little more mixing than I planned, but I think I really like this. Paint's a little bit thin in some of these spots, so I'm just gonna fix that up. See a little chunk here. I didn't expect to have such a transition of colors over it, and this is pretty neat. It's like it goes from like quite yellow up this end to more red down here. I'm just gonna separate these a little. All right, let's have a look. What do you guys think? See how it's this like starts out pretty yellow and red here, then we kind of transition into a lot less yellow, and there's more red at the end, just red and black. I don't know. I think this is pretty neat.